Rainbows for All Children has a vast network and community of passionate individuals who herald our mission to provide free peer support groups to youth around the world. We got the opportunity to sit and chat with some of them through a series of interviews. Welcome to the Rainbows Chats. After the storm, we shine.
During and after the divorce process with myself and my ex-husband, Alden, my older son, was probably 9.5 at the time, and was having a lot of trouble processing all the feelings and emotions that come with divorce. And he was asking really tough questions that I couldn't answer. Questions like, who invented divorce? And why did you get married in the first place? And, he was asking these really tough but important, fair questions that I, couldn't answer. We had tried therapy with him for a little bit, and he wasn't very comfortable sitting in a room alone with another adult. He just maybe wasn't old enough yet to understand what therapy meant. So I'll never forget the day we were standing in the kitchen. It was in the summertime, and I said to him, Alden, I said, what about a peer group? And he's like, what's that? And I explained the peer group is a group of kids his age sharing similar experiences with one another, hopefully helping to make him and the rest of the children in the group feel less isolated and alone in what they're feeling. And he turned and looked at me and said, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. So I literally, shortly after this conversation, sat down at my laptop and Googled peer groups near me for children. Couldn't really find anything, took to social media, started asking that way, and someone had mentioned Rainbows for All Children, which I had never heard of. And I immediately, I think, picked up the phone and called to the main office here, and I believe it was Paula who answered, and we spent a few minutes on the phone, and she told me that anyone can sort of start it. It takes some time, some effort, volunteers, marketing, and I never looked back. I just proceeded, and after a few months, somehow made it happen. So here we are, a year and a half later. It started in January of 2024. And it has been such a success, more so than I ever imagined. We have helped probably almost 30 children over the past year and a half. Most of them have remained in the groups. Probably at least 85% have remained and enjoy coming every week. They get disappointed when they hear that the 12-week session is ending because they just enjoy coming. The training was great. I liked that you can kind of take it at your own pace. It was great to see and watch the videos and, hear some real life stories about what you may or may not be dealing with. I think the hardest part was sort of the marketing aspect of it, just trying to figure out, okay, I've got my certificate, I've completed the training. I have one kid who really could benefit from the peer group, my own. How do I spread the word? And that was, I think, the most time-consuming and sort of the most effort. Luckily, I was able to work with the superintendent and principals of our school district. And while they weren't willing to support the peer group during school hours in the school, they were willing to help support the communication for it. With the newsletters, you reach thousands of parents in the district, through K through middle school. I was really grateful for the communication from within the school district. We're still able to occasionally post information about the ongoing support groups, and it's really exciting to hear that word of mouth is also now the case, now that some of these children have been in the group for over a year. We have their parents who are constantly talking about it and saying wonderful things about the program and how it's helping their child or children. And word of mouth has also been extremely helpful now that we're sort of this well-seasoned peer group. Our peer groups do run in a church, in our local community church. And so that has also been another form of marketing, where now the pastor of the church is making sure to mention that this peer group is running in the CCD wing of the church. So now we're getting some occasional interest from church goers, for church members. So great. Someone, a mom friend of mine said, how wonderful, Justine, that you saw a need for your own child, and helped to fill that need, and then discovered that there were so many other kids who also were in need of this program. So even if it just helped my son, that was good enough for me. But now seeing all the 25 plus kids that come every week and they're excited to be there, that is just really rewarding. But in the very beginning, we had more children than we did facilitators. So I just thought, well, if this is going to work, then I'll just take the training and do my best to facilitate. And obviously, I could not facilitate a group that my own child was in, so I was happy to take on younger children. I didn't think that I was going to enjoy it as much, or thought maybe I would just do it until we found enough volunteers, but we have enough volunteers, and I find myself not wanting to stop facilitating. I have a group of children who are both grieving from divorce as well as death of a parent. They're so brave and just incredibly strong, and they're inspiring to be around. And I enjoy spending that hour with them. I always leave feeling refreshed and feeling lighter and feeling happy to have spent that hour with them, because they're really amazing kids. And sometimes it's enjoyable to be around kids other than your own. And I'm sure my son would say the same thing. He appreciates, having a break from his brother and his mom, and he's able to connect with other kids his age. A girl who started in January of last year, who was very closed off at first, and maybe it almost seemed at first as though she didn't want to be there. When it would come time to share bums and brags, or to share a little bit about ourselves, most of the kids had found it easy to just get right into what we were there for, which was talking about ourselves and our situations a little bit more each week. And she would sort of sit off in the corner, not really, want to be in the circle with us. And so I kind of just let her do her thing. You cannot force these children to share their feelings, but she was coming every week. So I knew there was something good about that. And she eventually started sharing stories about her cats. And so I thought, well, talking is better than not at all. Fast forward a year and a half later, she is now one of the kids in my group who I have to cut off from speaking, because she overshares and wants to talk about every single detail and share every single brag and bum throughout her whole entire week. And so it's really been such a rewarding thing to see how far she's come. So that is something that stands out as, must be doing something right, because she's happy and excited to be there every week. Don't give up, because, it really just takes a few special people to help you create this. I definitely couldn't do it by myself. I have found amazing volunteers. My mom, who's a retired teacher, has been just an incredible resource and facilitator for her young group. Really, the volunteers who have stepped forward to help lead the groups that we have are just amazing parents, educators, former educators. We have a nurse. We have just wonderful people who show up every week and are doing amazing things to help support these kiddos. So don't give up. As hard as it may seem, it's possible, and all it takes is a handful of people to help.
Thanks for watching this installment of the Rainbows Chats. Follow us on social media and join our mission of creating communities of young people who are facing loss and uncertainty, so that no one has to grieve alone. Together, we can create a world where after the storm, we shine.